Hello, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about how even you, yes you brokey, even you can retire early. So first we have my list of investment stocks that have met my standards for investing. I've got them categorized by type, more or less. These are some cornerstone funds, which you'll find right here, I mentioned. These are the NASDAQ 100 ETFs. These are the S&P 500 ones. This is my Russell. These are my cryptos, metals. Actually, that should be metal too. And then we have other random ones. So, how do you retire early? Well, we'll take my own stuff, for example. So currently, I have about that much in Robinhood, about that much in my Fidelity. Together, they equal. And here's the, if you don't know how to make these, you just equal sum, and then you just click on whatever you want to do, basically. And then I have over here with 1.8, so 80% margin. It's just relatively high. It gives you 20% buffer sort of thing. But when you're doing these early years, you need to put some more risk. You need to risk more the earlier. Later on, you can drop that down to 1.5, 1.2, and even get off margin maybe eventually, right? So here we go. I have this much, okay? If I invest this 20% in Cornerstone, 25% in the NASDAQs, 500, blah, 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 right? BTC's all crypto. So I'd be 4,400 in this and this much. So this is exactly how much take, right? Plus, actually, this should be 1.8. And of course, copy that down. The 1.8% margin, right? So I use the O instead of the actual money. So this is how much divs I'd get a year, dividends. So I held the stock. This is how much I would get paid every year in dividends. This Cornerstone one actually would be more, but that's a different story. I have basically put it 20%, 20%, 15%, 12%. These are, you can get more, especially if you play them and stuff, buy low, sell high sort of stuff. But this is just dividends. After 1 year, actually we go down here. This is with the dividend reinvestment. After 1 year, we have making $19,000 a year in dividends. Then we have after 2 years, $32,000. Now this is adding $18,000 a year of my own cash. If I were to add, so that's $1,500 a month. But if I would just add $10,000 a year, or $1,000 a year, 13, 16, 20, right? So the more you add of your own earnings, if you have a job, right, the better off you'll be. So $10,000, 16, 25, $35,000 a year. That's pretty good. Depends on your lifestyle. Depends on how much money you're spending every year. So by January 2030, I expect to be making $46,000, and that's only putting $10,000 in a year. I plan on putting about 18. So by January 2030, I'll be making $64,000 a year. All I gotta do is just buy these things. This isn't even playing. This is just buying and holding and just collecting the dividend and reinvesting the dividend. Easy as pie. So that's how even you can retire early. Basic math, simple math. Here's my stocks again. And, other is these. You, of course, can use whatever you want. This is not financial advice. It's just what I'm doing, obviously. But I believe it can play over to many different situations for different people, especially if you have a job and you are saving money. So if I were to just save this money, right? So I have 18K, right? And then that would be, you take this, so equals sum. Okay, this times 2 is this, right? Boom. if I were to take this, copy it, paste, copy and paste. Okay, now we do that times 2. Okay, so this is times 3, and this is after 4 years, right? So after 4 years, you'd have 72,000. Something's not right. I'm missing a 0 here. You'd have $72,000, which is great. But if you invest it like I'm doing, you might have $170,000 versus $72,000. So if you stuff it under your mattress for 4 years, $18,000 a year, you have $72,000. If you do what I do, you'll have $170,000. So, you hear these poor, just uneducated on finance because they don't want to teach you finance because then everybody'd be rich. People, save money. You got to save money. Yeah, this is what happens when you save money. I mean, hey, $72,000 isn't bad, but $170,000 is a lot better, especially when you're getting $64,000 a year in addition to that. That money is making you that much. And then obviously the next year, this number is just going to keep going up and up and up and up. But if I stop contributing, obviously it will level out. But these stocks will still go up in value over time. Of course, there's risk. Some years you can earn less. Maybe I don't earn the 20% dividend next year because war with China or whatever, right? But averaging out over the years, you play it right, you can do this. Anyone can do this. It's basic math. Why more people aren't doing this? Some of these are newer. So this is the cutting edge of personal finance investing. FIRE technology, right? So used to be you could buy the Qs, you could buy the VU, you could invest in Bitcoin, but you didn't have these dividends, which were paying you more consistently, and all sorts of other tactics they use, and they do the work for you, because these sorts of things, they buy and sell options on Q, which if you try that, you can make money, but you can also lose a lot of money. They're a lot better at it than you. These are professionals, and they're doing an algorithm. So that's why I invest in these. No, do not worry about NAV erosion. Obviously, because I'm reinvesting the dividends, I definitely don't worry about NAV erosion. After time, once I am done adding money and I start taking money out, I start living off of these dividends, then I will have to set aside a percentage that's just reinvesting to prevent NAV erosion. Now, not all of these have NAV erosion, even. QQQH doesn't have NAV erosion. QQQ obviously doesn't. So if you don't know what NAV erosion is, look it up. There's a lot of myths about NAV erosion. It is not scary. It just means you have to be a little bit more hands-on with your planning. Ulti, for instance, has had very bad NAV erosion, but the dividends are way more than the NAV erosion. So it's a net positive, especially if you buy low, sell high. The number one rule to investing, buy low. If you can buy low, all the other problems take care of themselves. So good luck. Maybe you can retire in a couple years. Maybe this will give you the confidence to put your own little equations together and see where you can go, what you can do. If you have $22,000, if you have even less than that, you can still do it. I believe in you. Let's see here. If I reinvest my dividends only, and let's say I only have, let's say I have only $4,000, and I'm only contributing $1,000 a month. This is like bare bones stuff. By January 2030, you can be living off of $30,000 a year. If you don't pay rent, and you don't live in New York City or San Francisco, so if you live somewhere cheap, especially if you move somewhere cheaper, like you move to, the Philippines or Mexico or wherever where you can live dirt cheap, that's plenty of money. But what, $1,000 a month, and all you have is this? You can retire in a couple years. My goodness. Even if the stocks go down and everything, if you can live cheap enough, boy, oh boy. So good luck, everybody. Have fun.